the Taylormade driver that you've probably forgotten about, but could be the secret to fixing your driving. So Simon, who is this club actually designed for? And I have two people in mind. Guys, how you doing? Welcome back to a brand new video. Simon here in Cheltenham, and I'm picking up a driver that I've been looking for a very long time. Quite rare, especially in the condition from the photos that I found it on, and actually featured in my top 5 for under £100 driver list of 2021. And the reason being is it's very unique, and Taylormade are pretty much the only manufacturer that makes it. So the fact is quite hard to come across and quite rare. It does take some digging and doing and research to actually find one for a decent price, and that's exactly what I've done today. We have finally found one for a very good price, and it looks like it's in good condition, and these really do vary, I must say. Now if you were to find one of these on eBay and on auction in really good condition, they can go for £100 plus. But at the same time, you can find some absolute steals, and it doesn't necessarily matter on the model. And that's important because Taylormade have brought out many different variations of this, and the more up-to-date ones, the more expensive, but they all kind of do the same thing. So the fact I found this one for £50, I'm actually really pleased. So let's go and pick up this elusive Taylormade driver. The listing itself was actually on Gumtree, and I do scan it every now and again, and it was in Cheltenham, which is about an hour or so away, and I knew it'd make a good video. We are of course talking about the mini driver, aero burner mini driver. Now there, as I said, there's many variations. I'll show you the listing here, and we're going to go and pick it up from Mark. Aero burner SLDR original one, and the new one that Taylormade have recently brought out pretty much all do the same thing. Obviously they like to say that the new more updated one is going to be better than the rest, but they have a very specific purpose, and that is for the people that hit their 3-wood longer than their driver, and I'll get exactly into that more as this video goes on. But firstly, I think we should go and meet Mark and go and pick up this club and see it in all its glory. Right, boys and girls, aero burner acquired. £50 for a very good condition mini driver. As you can see there, there's a mark slightly on the top, but I think that'll actually come off. Mark actually recognized me watching the channel, so Mark, shout out to you. Thank you ever so much for watching the channel and the videos, and he's actually given us the opportunity to test the first mini driver. I haven't been able to get hold of one for love nor money. Forget aero burner, SLDR, even the original one I was trying to find for a decent deal, but finally we have one, and it's actually in great condition with regular flex shaft and a 14-degree loft. And this could be the game changer for a lot of you guys out there that struggle with the driver but absolutely rip a 3-wood. Wow, what an incredibly strange ball flight. Down here at Sanford Springs, give it a test. I'm going to show you some comparisons to a 3-wood that I brought with me, and we'll just give it a general hit and price comparison on all the other mini drivers that are out there on the market and which one would be for you. However, with that being said, the original one, or the 300 series that Taylormade brought out recently, I'd probably stay clear of, especially in the 300 realm mark. They're going to do exactly the same job, and the whole point of this experiment and me talking to you about the mini driver is the ball doesn't know what it's being hit by, hence why sometimes your 3-wood goes further than your driver. And you're probably thinking, why is that? Well, it's because the launch and the spin rate are perfect compared to your driver, where the launch is probably too low and the spin rate too high. 284 par 4, stroke index 17 down here at Sanford, very much in the distance. Let's give it a hit. I actually thought I skied that shot considering how high the ball went into wind, but that's kind of what this is designed for, and I'm going to clarify exactly what and who this club should be in the hands of. Now if you look online to get reviews on what this club is actually designed for, the majority of them just say more of a consistent club off the tee than the driver, and there's 2 points I want to argue with that. Number one, why you're not consistent with your driver, go and get a lesson. Number two is that if you're that big of a hitter to be inconsistent, quite like myself, i.e. you hit the ball 280 yards plus, surely just hit your 3-wood or just hit your 2-iron. Why would you need another 260, 270 yard club in the bag? Now, considering this hole is 270 yards long and I'm a good 50 yards short of the green, you could probably say that ball didn't go all that far. And And there's two reasons for that. Number one, launch was incredibly too high, and number two, the spin rate was ridiculous. But what happens if I was to put this club into a player that doesn't swing it as fast as me and struggles to get the ball up in the air, and that spin rate would actually be perfect for? So to explain my point better, realistically we have to look at both 3-wood and mini driver next to each other, and as you can see, mini driver head is very much bigger. So gravity is going to be a lot further back on this club than this one, hence why this one's going to launch the ball higher, mainly as this head's going to turn and bow as this is elongated down the swing path. Again, driver shaft very much longer than the 3-wood, therefore you're not going to get any more consistency. As the shorter the shaft, realistically you're going to get more control over that head. However, the big thing that we have to look at today is that deepness of face and what that deepness of face actually does. If you look at the Cobra fairway wood, very much shallow, standard fairway wood, and the reason you need that is because you need to hit it off a fairway. The mini driver behind it, very much a deeper face, and what this now allows us to do is hit up on the golf ball, which a lot of you don't do. I'm not talking much, but if you hit up on the ball, or even let's say a neutral angle of attack with your driver, you're going to increase your launch and you're going to lower your spin, i.e. you're going to hit the ball further. And guys, that's why you hit your fairway further than your driver. You imagine your driver at 10.5 degrees and you hit down on the ball at, I don't know, 5-6, which is quite common for a beginner golfer. Your launch angle is going to be about 4-5 and your spin rate is going to be about 3,500, just because of that dispersion between angle attack and that dynamic loft at impact. That's why if you look at a fairway wood and you've got 15 degrees loft, all of a sudden you're launching that ball at 10 degrees. And your spin rate's still hovering around the 2,500 to 3,000 mark. But because that launch angle keeps the ball up in the air longer and the spin rate isn't too high, it doesn't really matter, the ball speed is less, that ball's got more air time and coming down with a bit of run on it. And if you've been in this game long enough, you'll remember the SLDR campaign from Taylormade, loft up. They wanted the launch angle up, but they created incredibly low spinning driver heads. That's why I do believe the SLDR is one of the longest hitting drivers. Guys were literally, especially even the pros, gaining 20-25 yards because we found a driver that not only can keep the ball at that 10, 11, even 12 degrees launch angle, but keep the spin rate down to 2,000, 2,200. And whenever you increase the ball speed in that range, the ball's going to go further. However, this is why I have an adversity to every new 450, 500 pound driver, saying it's going to increase you more distance. It might be able to increase ball speed. It might, even in the parameters and the confinement that they have to stick to the rules, it might increase your ball speed. Let's go out there, wild, 5 miles an hour. But if that 5 miles an hour ball speed increases your spin rate by 1,500 and maybe decreases your launch angle, you're going to lose 15 yards on the slower headed driver that you already have in the bag. So Simon, who is this club actually designed for? And I have two people in mind. Player number one, you're now 60 years plus. Your swing speed is getting slower, you can't seem to get the ball up in the air for love nor money, and you hit your 5-wood beautifully. This club is worth a shout at 80 to 90 to 70 pounds depending on condition. Player number two, you can't be bothered to have a lesson. You hit a massive fade with your driver, but somehow you hit your 3-wood straight. Again, this club is worth playing about with at 60 to 70 or 80 pounds. But this club isn't a magical stick, it's more of a band-aid, and there's a reason that you don't see all the other manufacturers making it. There's nothing that can't be fixed throughout this process with a technical lesson. You'll see many drivers out there with massive sky marks on them because people are still hitting down on them just like they would with their fairway wood. If they actually fixed their angle attack and got, let's say, a bit more in the inside, or let's say not as cross it as much or not as steep, actually they would find their driver would go even further than the mini driver. But I'm all about value, and this club seems to hold its price incredibly well. The Aeroburner SLDR been out for quite a long time now. They would have been around the 200, I think 220 pound mark when they originally came out. They're now at about 80 to 90 pounds. Okay, the pristine ones like this one potentially 100 plus, but you can find a battered one. And if this is something that you want to work on and play with, I highly advise getting a battered one for 60, 70, 80 pounds, and see if it does make a difference. Because if it does make a difference and all of a sudden your mini driver goes further than your driver, well, at least you know you need to work on something in your game. So guys, there you have it, the Taylormade mini driver for £50, which is an absolute bargain, and maybe something you could play about with in the future if you're able to grab one at a similar price. If you like this video, please leave it a like, subscribe if you're new. Catch you guys later.
Morning Tom, hope you're doing well. Good afternoon mate, well done on the lesson. And
Evening Alan, not a problem at all. And testing the G30s and the afternoon gents, on my way to the lockup. Go pick up the Mura Iron.